FIFA 23 is here, and of course the number one question on everyone's mind is how to make coins. Of course you can play matches, but that's long and also tedious, and if you're not a good player like me, then it definitely is not an option. Or at least not an option to make hundreds of thousands of coins in a very short amount of time. That's why we need to resort to trading, and there's just one very simple trading method that you can use right now and most likely for the rest of the year because it works every single year, and that is bulk bidding. But before we do get into the video, if you want to get some very easy coins, then there is no better place than Mule Factory. Head over there to get yourself some cheap, fast FIFA 23 coins, completely reliable, and if you use Fnatic5 at checkout, you also get yourself a 5% discount. Link can be found in the description down below. Getting back into the video. Bulk bidding is not a new method. It's in fact probably the number one most talked about method here on this channel, simply because it is so easy. It doesn't matter whether or not you've been playing Ultimate Team since the beginning back in FIFA 09 or whether or not this is your first FIFA. It's simple to understand, and it's likely if you do find a good player that you will be able to make a lot of coins, not just today but over the next year. But to do this, we need to find good players. And there are hundreds, potentially even thousands of players out there that you can use. But of course, you want to find someone that you're able to use and not someone that I'm going to show on this video, because it's likely the second that I do show them, they're no longer going to work. The easiest way to find a player is to go over to the transfer market, select the quality to be rare gold, and then set the minimum price to be around 650 coins and then the max price to be 1000 coins. Now it's just going across the transfer market to find players with bids on. And there's no real rule to this, it's pretty much trial and error. What I do is go across, find a player, and let's say they have a 800 coin bid on, I will then quickly go back into transfer search, search that player by name, find their lowest buy now, which is done quite simply by going to the max buy now and increasing it or lowering it depending where you are to the point where there is only 1 or 2 pages worth. Once there is only a couple pages or even a couple players, you know that that is the minimum price that you can sell that player for. Now, if you can get that player on a lower bid, which is lower than that lowest buy now, then you know that you're always guaranteed to make profit. And that's pretty much what we're doing. So just as an example, I came across Lucas Vazquez, and it's just by coincidence that it was the exact same player that we ended up using last year at the beginning of FIFA 22. But Lucas Vazquez was selling for around 950 coins as his lowest buy now, and his price would fluctuate throughout the day. But that's not a problem. I decided that I was going to go and set my maximum price to be 700 coins. Now it's just a case of going through the transfer market, and because I set my maximum bid amount to be 700 coins, I could just go across every single one of them and place a bid. And this is all you need to do. You'll notice on the footage that's being shown, for some of these I'm bidding 600, others at 650, others at 700, and I'll just keep this going. If I can get Vazquez for as cheap as possible, in this case 600 coins, it means that I'm making over 300 coins per card once I sell them later for 950. You'll know if you've selected a good player dependent on how many you're able to win and also the time that it takes to actually expire. If you search for a player and it's going to take 20 minutes for the first page to expire, that's a bad player. Do not waste your time on them. It's much better for you to back out, find a completely new player by going to the very beginning and setting the quality to be rare gold, minimum price 650, max price 1000, and then looking for a completely new player to try. This is why it's down to trial and error, because not every player is good, but there is also quite a lot of good players out there. You just need to go back and forth until you find one. You will also have moments where you find a player, you think they're going to be a good one, they're all expiring relatively quickly, but once you've spent a couple minutes just to bid on 50 to max out your watch list, you'll then take a break, come back a couple minutes later and realize you didn't win one of them. It's pointless for you to go through the exact same player again. it's likely there is someone else who's trading doing the exact same method on you on the exact same player, and they're likely going to carry on outbidding you because they're happy to take a smaller profit. There's no point trying to compete against them because you're either going to overbid where you lose coins, or it's just not worth your time because you're making pennies. Yet again, go back to the beginning, find a completely different player, and then try again. Once you do this several times, you'll start to figure out what works well for you, what doesn't. You'll get a list of players which you know do well so that you can always go to them and you don't need to bother with the research at the beginning. You can just type their name in, go straight to find their lowest buyer now, take just a couple hundred coins away, set that as your max bid price, and go across all 50, place in a bid, and hopefully you'll win the majority of them. Now with this method, I shouldn't really have to highlight the obvious, but you're not making a ridiculous amount per card. In some cases, and some of the trades that you're probably seeing on screen, are making about 150 coins. But this method really starts to become big once you're able to get 10, 20, 30, 40 players all in a very short period of time, ready to list them onto the transfer market with them selling within the first hour. If I am making 150 coins profit per card and I manage to get 40 of them, that's 6k. And that's not me having to sit there and play constantly for an hour. I'm actually just spending about 2 minutes as I go across the transfer market and place bids on 50 different players. I will then leave for just a couple minutes, come back, and then most of them have expired where I've been able to win about 40, and then I need to spend maybe 2 or 3 minutes listing each and every single one of those players onto the transfer market for at least 1 hour. That's when I will go away, do something else in some cases, and if you are trying to maximize the most amount of coins on FIFA, this is when you'll take the time to go and do something completely different. I will actually sit here, plan, or even record videos, but if you are trying to make the most out of FIFA, you can go and play a match. You can play a match where you're able to earn more coins. You could go through division rivals, foot champions, squad battles, foot draft, or maybe you just want to try out foot moments. Whatever it is, you are now earning coins whilst playing the game mode that you're going through, and by the time you're finished, you back out, go back to the menu, and there you go. Those players have sold. You may need to relist a couple, but with the coins you've managed to earn as profit, you can then reinvest it by doing the exact same method again. If you are just starting FIFA, it is the case where you may only have a couple hundred or a couple thousand coins. If you do only have a couple hundred coins, it's going to be very slow as you are only making 100, 200, maybe 300 if you're lucky per player. And it's going to take some time for that to build up. But once you do really get things going and you are in a position where you can spend a decent amount of coins every single time and you're able to max out your watch list with 50 players, if you're able to win anywhere between 20 to 40 of them, you're going to be making a really good amount of profit. And this is all done in a very short amount of time. Once you start to build up to 70, 80, 90, maybe even 100k or more, that is when you might want to change this up slightly and you can start looking at more expensive players. But as of for now, we are just focusing on getting things started by looking at cheap rare gold players, getting loads of them. And even though we're only making a very small amount of profit per player, it really starts to add up. And if you do want to experiment with loads of different players, which is pretty much what I'm doing, with every single one of them I'll trade with, make a good amount of profit, but I'll store one to my club because I know at some point within the future I will use them, whether or not it's part of an SBC or maybe I'm just going to use them as one of the teams that I'm experimenting with at the time. This method also isn't exclusive to just players. You can move it over to other items. There's definitely potential for you to use this on manager items, consumables, or any other type of card within the game. The only reason it works really well with rare gold players is because of the amount of packs that get opened. With major events such as the release of Ultimate Team or Black Friday or Team of the Year or Team of the Season, whatever the promo is, if there is a much higher amount of players that are opening packs during that time, this method is going to be perfect where you're able to get loads of players in a very short amount of time. You may even encounter a problem where you're able to win a lot more of these trades quicker than it is for you to sell them. And this is another reason why it's good to use this method, because you can actually unassign players. If you're bulk bidding on a player and you've currently got 100 listed onto the transfer market, with there being one selling every minute, you can still carry on building up and stockpiling these players ready to sell them for later. You will max out your watch list to 50. Once they expire, you will be able to press LT and this will bring them into the unassigned pile. Instead of you sending them to your club or trying to send them onto the transfer list because it's already full and you're only allowed to send one to your club, that is when you'll just back out. You've now got space on your watch list to carry on bidding and you can just keep on doing this over and over again. This is pretty much what I'm doing right now at the time of recording this video. I'm stockpiling as many of these players as possible, some being Lucas Vazquez, but there's plenty of other players there. And as soon as there's space on my transfer list, I'll send them over. And once one sells, I will then send over another one and keep this loop going so that I'm constantly making coins no matter what. But anyway guys, this is one of the easiest trading methods that you can use within FIFA 23. And at the time recording this video, with the release of FIFA 23, I highly recommend that you're using this. But if you're watching this video at a later date, I guarantee it still works. You just need to go out there and find a different type of player. If you do have any questions about anything, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going to see ya.